Hello everyone, Brother Yubby here, your coach of the Russian Rowlet. This is the Pokemon World Cup, and I am bringing you our Week 3 matchup. If you didn't see our first 2 weeks, go back and check those out. We did win both of them, so we are now currently 2-0, and we have a +9 differential. We are guaranteed a spot in the knockout round, so this match actually doesn't matter at all, because the two people that are fighting for the second spot in knockouts, they're facing each other. So the person I'm facing, who is Ben, aka Alolan Bob, he is knocked out of, so he can't advance. So this match doesn't really matter too much, but neither of us really, quote unquote, wanted to meme. So I didn't give my best prep. This isn't the best team I could have come up with, but I also didn't want to not bring a decent team. So I kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, I half-assed this team, and I still think it's a good team. So if you need a recap of my team, your Russian Rowlet have Megalodios, Slurpuff, Darmanitan, Empoleon, Alolan Persian, Mimikyu, Zapdos, Helios, Shaman, Mamoswine, and Nihilego. And Alolan Persian, Mimikyu, and Nihilego are our Z users. And Alolan Bob's team consists of Mega Banette, Gothitelle, Weezing, Lucario, Shuckle, Zoroark, Kartana, Rotom Wash, Gigalith, Silvally, and Volcarona, with Volcarona, Lucario, and Kartana as his Z users. So immediately, Pokemon that threaten my team are, of course, Volcarona. Lucario can be a problem. Kartana really isn't a problem. And Gothitelle. If he brings Gothitelle to trap in some of my walls, then I'm going to have a tough time. So I built this team around being able to switch out, or not really caring about having Gothitelle in on it. So I brought an offensive Zapdos. Is holding a Magnet. It is 252 special attack, 48 HP, 32 defense, and 176 speed with a timid nature. With this nature, I am always outspeeding a max speed Lucario. And if he is Scarf Lucario, I am never 2-hit KO'd by close combat after rocks. Or it's like less than a 10% chance that I am 2-hit KO'd. So it's not a problem. And I'm offensive as hell. Volt Switch does a lot. He has no ground types, other than if he decides to bring Silvally ground. And I actually have something for Silvally ground on my other electric type, which you do see on there. And I'll kind of explain my thought process behind that. Next, I have Shaman. It is a Shed Shell variant, because this is what I feel like, if he brings Gothitelle, this is what Gothitelle is going to want to trap in. And because Gothitelle can actually set up on this Shaman pretty well. Everything else doesn't really set up well on, other than possibly Empoleon. And Empoleon, I'm going to be very careful around Empoleon, with an Empoleon and Nihilego, if I do see the Gothitelle, to make sure that I don't get trapped in. And my Shaman is Seed Flare, Hidden Power Fire, Synthesis, and Leech Seed. Seed Flare plus Hidden Power Fire hits everything on his team incredibly hard, especially the Kartana and a lot of the things that's going to want to come in on the special side. Seed Flare hits very well. So next I am bringing Nihilego. It is an Assault Vest variant specifically designed to take on the Volcarona, and it is Power Gem, Hidden Power Fire, Psychic, and Grass Knot, and it is 240 HP, 216 special attack, and 52 special defense with a Calm Nature that is boosting special defense, minus attack, and with this investment, if I get a kill, I get a special attack boost instead of a special defense boost, while still being incredibly specially bulky. And he does have the Gigalith, so if he does bring the Sand with the Gigalith, I do get an extra boost with my Nihilego as well. Next, I am bringing the Alolan Persian, Leftovers, Fur Coat, basically as much speed as I can get. Outspeeds everything on his team, barring any Choice Scarf users, and I am Taunt, Parting Shot, Dark Pulse, and Knockoff. I'm Mono Dark. This is a really good pivot, and it's really good at shutting down the Gothitelle as well as the Mega Banette. Mega Banette actually won't be able to use any of its Prankster moves on my Alolan Persian, so it's very nice there. Next is the Helios. It is a Choice Scarf Helios with it's max special attack, max speed. It's speed ties with a Choice Scarf Kartana. And I have Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Hyper Voice, and U-Turn. U-Turn is specifically there for a ground type Silvally. That's his only ground type, and if he does have it as a ground type, I want to have a way to be able to pivot around against it, just so it doesn't come in and wall my Helios every single time. And lastly, I have my Defogger and my Rock Setter in Empoleon as leftovers. It has a lot of special defense and a lot of HP and some defense. This is a pseudo check to the Volcarona, and it has Rock Slide, Scald, and of course Stealth Rocks and Defog. So we will now jump right into the match. So we see that he does not bring the Gothitelle or the Mega Banette, which is very nice. No Zoroark either, so I don't have to worry about any disguise or any disguises there. And we see that he does, and no Savali, so no ground types, so I can freely full switch on everything. And you see that he does bring the Lucario, the Volcarona, the Rotom Wash, the Gigalith, the Weezing, and the Kartana. And immediately my game plan going into this is to make sure that the Volcarona cannot set up. As long as the Volcarona can't set up, I don't think I can lose. Because I'd never lose to a Kartana, considering I have Zapdos and Shaman, as well as Alolan person, so the Kartana can't really do anything to me. So I'm actually kind of surprised Kartana came, just because I also had Megaladios that could easily come in and wall it with no defense investment. So I'm going to be able to switch into the Kartana very well. So my main concern is that Volcarona and not letting it set up. And you'll see throughout the course of this match, I think I do a decent job with it, or I'm making plays to make sure that I don't. So I lead off with Helios. I get a Volt Switch on anything. And I'll just Volt Switch on the Rotom. I expect him to Volt Switch as well. Or if he goes for either Toxic or a Will-O-Wisp, I have Natural Cure on Shaman, so Shaman's a really good switch in here. As he goes into his Weezing, that's a free switch in my Empoleon. I am immune to the Sludge Bomb, and this is my best chance to get up rocks. He gets a burn on the Flamethrower. Who burns with a Flamethrower? I mean, come on, really? No, just kidding. It really doesn't matter in the course of this match. It weakens my Rock Slide, which makes me a little more susceptible to the Volcarona, but I have my rocks up, so I'm not as worried about Volcarona right now, as long as he doesn't have Defog, but he has Defog on the Rotom, but I do get a free switch into my Shaman, and I know he's switching out here. I know he's going into Weezing, so I get a Leech Seed off, and I'm starting to chip down on this Weezing, and here I just can switch right into my Empoleon. My Empoleon is a great switch into this Weezing every single time, especially since it has Leech Seed. I'm actually recovering just as much as he's doing with Flamethrower, and he goes into his Lucario here on my rocks. I can just set up rocks again. And this Lucario is a little scary, but I just switch right into my Zapdos. I know I can take two of anything, as long as he doesn't go for either Ice Punch or Rock Slide. Here, I'm going to pause. I know, especially since he has the lower defenses, I OHKO him with every single move that is not Roost, because Roost can't hit the opponent. So I need to scout here. Either he switches out, or he stays in and he is sashed, or scarfed. If he's scarfed, not a big deal. I take another hit and I kill him with my Volt Switch. And I can roost up against something else later, possibly the Weezing or the Gigalith I can roost up on and not really take a lot of damage. But I do outspeed. As I said it in the little team build, I outspeed anything that is not a Choice Scarf Lucario, so I know that he cannot outspeed me unless he is Scarf, and if he's Scarf, he doesn't kill me. So, since I Volt Switch and I hit him, I do kill him, but he's sashed. Here, I'm scouting for either Rock Slide or Ice Punch, and I go into my Persian. I know he's not going to click Close Combat. I know he's not banded. I know he's not locked into anything unless he's Choice Specs Close Combat, which is not a thing. So I know he's not going for a Close Combat here, so Persian's a really good switch in, and I know I outspeed him, so I can knock off anything coming in, or I can kill off the Lucario here. As we do see the Ice Punch. Ice Punch would have killed my Zapdos if he had outsped me, but he was never going to outspeed me. Even if I roosted there, it would have done about 30%, considering my investment. And I lose the Flying typing. And I knock off the Payapa Berry from the Weezing, so he actually was very prepared for the Megaladios. Payapa Berry, if you don't know, it reduces Psychic type attacks by half. And whenever the Weezing comes in, my Empoleon is basically a free switch in, and I get, here I actually pull a double, which did end up working out for me. So I Parting Shot out on the Weezing and go into my Empoleon. Here, on my Empoleon, I'm fully expecting his switch into the Rotom. He's gone into Rotom every single time in my Empoleon. I have no reason to think otherwise, so after he Flamethrowers me, I expect him to switch out, and I double into my Shaman. Shaman is my best. It basically puts me in a really advantageous position. So either his Volcarona comes in and gets taken out to 50% from rocks, or anything else comes in and I have really good offensive pressure. He brings in his Gigalith, takes a Seed Flare fairly well, but it's still 2-hit KOing. And here I expect him to switch out, and I fire off a Leech Seed on the Weezing, on the incoming Weezing, I should say. And Here I end up going into my Nihilego. I want to start applying a lot of offensive pressure. Thankfully, that flamethrower does not burn my Nihilego. I do want to keep it healthy just so it can check the Volcarona. And here the Gigalith comes in. I have Grass Knot for the Gigalith, so not that big of a deal. I was worried about a Rindo Berry, but I assumed it wasn't. I was just kind of hoping. But if it wasn't, I had a pseudo check and I still had rocks up for the Volcarona, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Here he goes into his Kartana. I am deciding to just synthesis up on my Shaman. I here he brings in his Rotom on my Hidden Power Fire. I would have been fine taking out the Kartana there since rocks are still up. So here I synthesis up because I don't want to take out this Rotom. I actually don't want to take out this Rotom with my Shaman, especially since he got rid of the rocks. Since he got rid of rocks, I know Volcarona comes into my Shaman every single time. So I do not want to let Shaman get a kill if the Volcarona is still alive. As he sets up a Quiver Dance there with his Volcarona, I pull the switch in my Choice Scarf Helios. I take the Hidden Power Ground, and he actually shows the Chardy Berry, which allows him to live the Power Gem. But that's not that big of a deal, mainly because I have a Choice Scarf Heliolisk, which is really nice. So Heliolisk coming in really clutch there, and basically getting the kill on Volcarona. And here we're just going to see my Persian take out the Lucario, and this end game is basically whoever I want to get these last two kills. It's either Zapdos or Shaman, both of them 1v1 the rest of his team, and I decide to go into Shaman. I like Shaman. Neither of them really have a ton of kills, but Shaman is probably my safest switch because it is going to be able to take anything from the Kartana, and I don't have as defensive of a Zapdos as I want, and since my Shaman's very, very physically bulky this week, I can just kind of take hits from the Kartana. You see that the X-Scissor did about 40%, so Shaman's very, very bulky. So, good game to Alolan Bob. I know neither of us brought probably our best prep, and neither of us really memed either. Thank you for playing. It was a good match. You did play very well. Just a few things that, it did end up getting a little predictable, which is why I was able to get into a bit more of an advantageous position as you were. But again, good game. So we have moved on to the knockout rounds now. So we are in the top 16 of the World Cup. And from here on out, it is if you lose, you go home. And if you win, you move on. So hopefully your Russian Rowlet, coached by me, Brother Yubby, can move on and continue their reign of terror. We finish up 3-0 with a plus 14 differential out of the round of pools, and we are the first seed out of our round of pools as well. So thank you very much for joining me, and I hope I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.